Great, as we do have in the bottom left-hand side. The red Protoss player to kick off this best of 5 PvZ. It is going to be MaxPax in the bottom left corner of the map. As in the top right, our blue Zerg is SHIN. As we get this up and running and underway and look to see what's going to go down as we get settled. So SHIN lost yesterday to MaxPax in the finals of WardiTV Mondays number 7. Just to see whether kind of a sad series for SHIN. Didn't really get kind of underway at all, but like I kind of hope he takes that series and obviously picks up a couple of things from it and kind of comes in with some new stuff today to kind of look a little bit better. Smooth out some of the early game defense, for example, is immediately going to make things a whole lot better for him. For example, could be huge. So yeah, I think SHIN should be able to learn a little bit from yesterday's series. So in a way, I was kind of glad that they actually played yesterday, because to me, I feel like that sets up for maybe a better series today. I feel like if they just played today, it would have been the 3-0 from yesterday, but now probably going to get to see something a little bit more back and forth, and so should be good. Comes over, just gonna keep on moving about. A couple queens, lings, drones, all coming through. The ling speed coming up. Stargate building on the side of MaxPax. Our Nexus finishing very shortly as well. Excited to see what that Stargate leads us to on the side of our Protoss player. So again, that Stargate up and running here just to start off with. Get that underway. And yeah, Nexus, Walkgate all coming up as well. Step comes back over, again Stargate and the Stalker and the Warp Gate building. That's really what we're waiting on to decide what the next stage of this is going to look like, so excited for that to come around. Step's going to be there, and a couple of Lings and the Queens are going to be there to play defense and to push that away. Pull some probes in as SHIN gets in with a couple of Lings. I mean, that's already, to me, I feel like SHIN kind of doing what he's comfortable with, which is always very exciting. Oracle gets into the center, a couple of Lings going to take the Watchtower. Again, Skull coming up. Have the Queen hitting the Oracle a little bit. Oracle just going to get over, just going to be seeing the Nexus coming through, the Pro continues in. Oracle just going to get hit. Again, just going to turn around. Drone going to be taking some damage as well. Oracle coming back through into all the natural. Melee upgrade coming through. A few extra drones coming in. Creep teamers are coming up across the board. Twilight Council and Forge building from MaxPax. The Nexus also coming up to finish very shortly. The couple of Adepts will warp in. Twilight Council building. As Adepts warp in to the third base here and look to play defense. The Lings come wrapping around. The Adepts going to get there. Push the Lings back. Oracle's overhead. SHIN playing into that melee upgrade. The issue he had yesterday when playing the melee upgrade was the storms. His opponent got to storm very comfortably, and MaxPax was able to use those storms very well to really just make the fights very one-sided. Which is, you know, the correct thing to do as the Protoss player. If you're playing against melee upgrade lings, you want storms. They deal with them very well. You don't let the melee upgrades come into play at all. You want to just shut that down ahead of time. You don't want to let that develop into something more than it ever needs to, you know, really be. Big Queen stepping forwards there. A couple of creep teamers will go down. The Adepts will shade. Those creep teamers go down already. Queen still putting some damage out. Oracle still coming around there. Hold on a moment. Oh, nice. Stasis Ward hits a lot of the drones, actually, so SHIN going to get caught up a little bit there, trying to deal with the Adepts. He's honestly dealing with the Adepts pretty well. Not taking any real damage, just the Stasis Ward hitting a bit harder than he maybe would have hoped for. Infestation Pit and the Hydralisk Den. That means we're going to go no Bane Nest, but against the charge that's coming online, I would not have minded seeing Banelings at all. Have the Banes to smash through the charge lot Archon. I mean, it feels like there's going to be a time window here for MaxPax to strike, in which his opponent's going to be in a lot of trouble. This battery is going to take some damage. Overcharge drops on it. The Lings keep showing up. Melee upgrade obviously already active here. First couple Stalkers going down. The Oracle able to get a lot of kills during this, and the extra Zealot Warp in should be enough to turn this around and push that back. Let's get to the bottom side. Lurker Den coming up and online as well. Charging +1, continuing through. That's going to get to the center, like I said. It's going to be rough without any Banelings. I mean, a few Hydras coming up, so a backline bit of damage output would be huge. I'm just getting there, pushing the Prism away. Hydra continues about. Zealots and Archons will step forward as well. We will see the Stasis Wards coming through. Zealots, Archons continuing over. Just going to be seeing the Hive on the way in. A few Hydras going to be there. A couple of Zealots going down. The Lings are going to run across as well. Hydra's drones gathering up. Hive about to finish. The Spine Crawler coming through. +1 missiles. Let's go, augments all on the way, and the Lings and Hydra still building. Another Stasis Ward will catch. Our Zealots going back around towards the upper left-hand side as well at the same time here. You have +2 attack. Extended Thermal Lance, Colossus, and Archon all on the way out. Our Nexus and Robo Facility building from MaxPax as we continue to set up. Well, SHIN's alive, and I feel like that's one of the big things to kind of take from this, is that he's surviving longer than he survived at certain points yesterday. We actually have Hydra's going to get underneath that prism. MaxPax leaves it AFK. Could have kept it running to the bottom corner, but does not and gets punished for it. Nice pickup there from SHIN. That's going to be a major plus. That's definitely one in the correct direction. More shots going through. Stasis Ward coming down again. He's trying to wrap around. Lurkers actually burrow up down at the bottom. We're going to be seeing cannons and batteries all getting hit here. So SHIN with a big push in with the Lurkers now active. First Disruptor's coming up and online. Can we defend on the other side of the map with so many Lurkers on the bottom side? This could be something of a base trade scenario. And right now, base trades always feel pretty good for pros who can recall at the right time to really shift things in their favor. Hydra's flying away. Colossus still hitting. I mean, the Hydra's just not going to do well against this Colossus. You need these lurkers to be your defense. You need those to be kind of joined in this fight. Like I said, across the map, these lurkers are not being stopped. I will say that obviously MaxPax has not been able to continue progressing forward here. Those disruptor shots are very good. Yeah, MaxPax has not continued to progress forward, so I was worried a little bit for the base trade element of this, but actually MaxPax doesn't keep on base trade, and he can't get into base trade. So he has to come home to deal with this, and now the Colossus are going to go and try and intercept these lurkers. They are going to get there to get some shots off, and that will be a successful move. And end up burrowing. I don't think that's the play. I think we just keep running. Yeah, the Colossus are going to shoot a few down, but just, you know, take the losses on the chin and just go with it. Battery sets up, feelings nibbling at the Nexus. Archon's Colossus gathering together. We do still see lurkers hanging out on the gold base. Storm building from MaxPax. Obviously interest in this game went straight in towards this Colossus. Did not go into the Storm. SHIN, you know, close to being maxed out right here currently. And one of this best of 5. A few lurkers continue to morph through. +1 Carapace coming up as well. As it moves over, Lurker's going to get very burrowed, obviously trying to reposition to make sure they're always in the right place. Archons, Immortal join up together, Ling Hydra coming through, the Lurkers get set. Viper's going to get a bunch of abducts here. A bunch of tech units brought in, almost too many. We can't get rid of all of those at once. 2 Archons died out of the 4 abducts. Lurkers still settle, a few Vipers gathering up. Yeah, Vipers come through, Spire on the way, a couple Nidus networks getting going as well. We are going to get this Nidus into the main base right now. Shots coming by. Lurker's going to shoot up a few shots here. Just going to be interesting because you've got to be careful not to kind of throw those lurkers away. SHIN doesn't have a massive army supply lead or anything anymore. MaxPax rebuilding very well in this game. SHIN going to try and move around aggressively. The Nidus network's being shut down. Great defense so far by MaxPax, doing a fantastic job of that. Disruptors move up, and that's going to be some lurkers getting busted down. Keep stepping forward. The few lurkers come through. The Nidus actually getting out here, and the few lurkers that get out will start to fight those zealots. Actually going to get rid of that Colossus in the front. The Archons and the Immortals come back over as well. Going to be seeing the Hydras coming through. Nidus getting set up for this Disruptor shot and the Storm combined. The High Templar have to be careful. They're taking damage here as well. As SHIN saying, I felt as though MaxPax had started to recover in this game a little bit, but clearly not well enough, and obviously still only on 3 bases, so any losses right now become extremely expensive. Whereas SHIN is rich, and you can see that just with the amount of Nidus he's thrown at his opponent. I kind of love the kill on the gas. You know, if you've only got 3 bases, gas in the main will be mining out right now. I mean, you're genuinely denying something that's kind of necessary for your opponent to play with. Detection apparently just not available. Okay, it is available. There is some detection here. Just at first it felt as though those lurkers were going to never be hit. And SHIN takes a step away, and well, what do you say about yesterday? You know, that series, maybe something SHIN can learn from and come back stronger today. Well, that's definitely happening as these zealots go onto this lurker den, and that's going to get swiped down. That lurker den falls, and a new lurker one will have to be built. So MaxPax still doing great on the counterattack, still trying to put some work in. Archon's going to be there. The Immortals and the Colossus step up as well. Lurkers continue to burrow. Just going to swim across over this side. Burrow up behind this mineral line. Those probes get pushed away also. Lurkers will sit there, continue to put some work out. We do have, I mean, just again, being behind the mineral line's huge. Look at all those probes that sat AFK, not mining at the moment. It's obviously very expensive. Huge amount of money being lost as the Lurkers going to get jumped on by those Zealots. Nidus going to get wrapped around. But we actually got the Nidus up long enough to evacuate the Lurkers. Even the little things are going well for Shin, as MaxPax, I think, realizing it's time to pull the trigger on one final fight across the map. But it's going to be hard to pick where to attack into. And of course, attacking into Lurkers is quite oftentimes a death sentence for a Protoss player, especially when you're forced to attack in deep against the Lurkers, which is pretty much what this is going to be guaranteed to be. Got a couple of Archons, Immortals getting jumped forwards. I'm just going to push those Zealots away as well, continue to chase those out. Let's push that all the way through for the moment. Just going to be seeing the rest of these Zealots going about. The Hydra's going to be hitting there. Archons and all the rest continue to come through, just having ourselves... I mean, honestly, there's a lot of potential in the Protoss army. It's just, is the number of units good enough? You know, you can drop some Storms and have some Immortals fighting, but if you just go up against so many Lurkers that it doesn't matter what damage you do, I mean, that's kind of where we're at right now, you know? Army of MaxPax moving down the bottom right. Immortal Colossus Archon continue to come through. Storm's coming out. Colossus taking damage. Another Storm comes out onto the Hydras. We do end up stepping away though. Taking a moment right now. Spinecrawler, Hatchery, both taking big shots. We're going to step in. That Lurker goes down. Drone's in some trouble. Hatchery falling. Going to see the rest of those drones continue to get picked away. I'm just going to see a lot of those workers going down. The fact that this is still a game is kind of wild. I mean, I understand that MaxPax is kind of limited in Shin, but MaxPax has only just now really gotten back to 4 bases. Lurkers get up in the natural expansion. How much can they really achieve? Well, they're stuck in this corner. That said, some of the Archons can't really get through to fight, but there's going to be a cleanup. Shin's going to strike elsewhere at the same time, running Lurkers into the 3rd base. Obviously, we use the recall in this, so that means we're in an extended period now where MaxPax is a little bit more vulnerable because he has already used his recall. So he's going to be, if he gets out of position now, there's less of a chance for him to come back and handle that. Now on the bottom side, on the new 4th base that just came up and online, there's going to be units there as well. Lurkers once again in position. They might be good enough to get the base on this one. I mean, it's not super quick, but the army would have to come across from that 3rd base. The Nexus is already a quarter of the way down. And we're going to be able to unburrow and get away in the Nidus network as well. Love these evacuation Niduses. Obviously just allowing you to play a bit more efficiently. You're right, if that Nidus wasn't there, you might lose a couple Lurkers. Instead, you get out with every single Lurker in the game on that attack. Amazing. +3 melee, +3 carapace, both coming online. The Lings get across here. I'm just going to pick away at. And very nearly kill off that Pylon. Pylon actually just about able to survive. 6 more Corruptors coming through. The few Spore Crawlers coming up as well. Hatcheries are still building. The Overseer is also not far from being done. This opening game of Shin versus MaxPax going the distance a little bit right now. You have the Nexus, Battery, Cannon all coming up and online at the moment, so just continue to bring all of that through. And MaxPax having to rebuild that base again. Resources lost. This is why MaxPax is still in the game. 35,000 to 24,000 resources lost. That's why. That and the fact he's also done okay at denying some of the bases of Shin. Crazy to think that Shin's having such a struggle though, because this felt like such a guaranteed kind of game for him at some point. Now moving into Broodlords, of course, there's not a lot of answers to Broods. MaxPax has not had the money to tech up much further than he already was at in this game, and that's definitely going to be a factor. The Zealots get in over there. The Lings are going to come back around. The Colossus, the Archons combined to get rid of some of those Lings. Going to move through here. The Hydras go down as well. It's going to be a nice cleanup. So the hatchery coming down over on the far right-hand side. Just going to get that into position as well. It's going to be having a couple of Zealots. Going to get the drone, get the extractor again. Just a little bit to harass, trying to keep Shin honest in this game and give MaxPax hope to return in this and to bring this back around as the Archons pull back over. Just going to see a couple of lurkers shooting away as well. A few shots getting fired up. Broodlords continue out. Hatchery on the way. Spore Crawler is about to complete. Archon Immortal stepping up and a couple drones go down. Lurkers are going to be there to push away again. Hydras and Lurkers step into this mineral line now as a few of these probes begin to drop. The cannon going to get jumped on. Storms all across the other units. Hydras trying to hit the Nexus. That's going to force the recall to go on to cooldown again. We do have the evacuation. Nidus. Niduses have been, again, very well utilized, like I said. Making sure that those units can get away time and time and time again. Ensuring that we make our getaways as smoothly and as cleanly as possible. You know, Shin doesn't have a lot of money banked. To fight right now could be kind of decisive. I'm worried for Shin a little bit. I mean, I think the Broodlords do help a lot. But there's a lot of emphasis on this upcoming fight. If you mess up that fight, you can definitely end up in a ton of trouble right now. Phoenix comes down. The Overseer gets picked off. Stargate and additional probes continue to come through from MaxPax. The Tempest comes online as well. One brood goes down, the other broods come back across, firing away. Archons and Immortals get chased as well. Coming straight over here, this brood still chasing. A couple of spine crawlers going to go poking and prodding away. The Broodlord's chasing down the rest of that army. Hydra's going to turn onto this Nexus. The pylon going to go down. The Nexus is going to continue to take a lot of shots. The broods will work onto that position. High Templar falls, now chasing down for the Archon as well. Archon will go down also. Obviously, the Broods are less mobile than everything else in the army and on the map in general, so it's correct that MaxPax is going to try and run around this for some positions. Interesting that Shin is chasing this army around with Broodlords. A lot of the time you would just say, you know what, nah, it's alright, let's just commit the Broods to a certain place and deal damage with them and let the counterattack happen. The Storm comes onto the Broodlords, multiple Broods getting hit. We've ducked a bunch of units forwards, Archons, Colossus all going down. Viper's still taking shots as well, the Hydras and Lurkers trying to step forward, Broodlords are still firing away. Do not have enough to really deal with Tempest right now. Tempest are going to be a very good unit to have. MaxPax being able to get up to those as an answer to the Broodlords is huge, because Tempest are also very good against the Lurkers. The Hydras are the one thing that can do well against these. We now have to start building Corruptors. Obviously, if you could Viper abduct those Tempests in, that would work as well, but MaxPax is going to make a stand. 18 workers in the game. The fact he's still alive, and then this game is reaching the 25-minute marker is really kind of ridiculous. Tempest, Archon, Immortal, Colossus pulling out to the central watchtower here. Some spines and some spores coming online. Corpse coming up, +3 missiles will start. Just gonna see those structures in the back going down. A couple of drones getting hit. Broodlords are gonna be firing. Things running again, battery cannon in some trouble, just going to be seeing the pylons perhaps in some issues as well. Just going to get the recall off, and the Colossus will be there to deal with the Lings, push that back. I mean, what does MaxPax on 15 workers? I mean, he's basically relying on this one fight. credit to him again. The fact he even made it to Tempest. Not just the fact that the game's gone on, but the fact he's ended up making it to Tempest. Like, I said at some point, it's like, well, you know, the Broodlords are great because MaxPax will never have the tech to deal with them. Well, was I wrong? Yes. Look at that Tempest count. Ridiculous that he got up to that, considering the fact that he's never really been off the 3 bases that he's had. He obviously had a 4th base at some point. I mean, if he can find a fantastic fight, it's possible. It's just looking less likely, and especially now we've got Corruptors up to fight the Tempest a little bit, but that's a Viper that goes down. I mean, hey, take some freebies, take those Tempest shots and run with them. I'd like to see the Tempest actually shoot those couple of Lurkers. I mean, I guess the gold's nice to get rid of too, but it's also not going to be a bad thing to shut down. So we will lose the hatchery here, so this base will drop. I mean, Shin has got bottom right base, is able to mine, so that's going to be a big step in the right direction for him. Everything else gathering still. Archon being brought up from MaxPax. A few Corruptors and the +2 air weapons continue to come in. This network will fall. It's funny, there's just so little creep on the map. There's like a bit of creep connecting some of the bases, and that's about it. It's always been a game where MaxPax has had his positions on the map at times and has been able to knock any creep spread back and reset the attempts of creeping up as the Zerg player. The reason MaxPax is able to do this is because every unit in his army is a tech unit. 7 Tempests, Colossus, 6 Archons, 9 Immortals, only 2 Zealots in the game. The only gateway units. That and the fact that obviously attacking into the pros can be kind of rough. The Zerg army's never really been set to kind of fully do that. We're going to start trying to make a move now. Hydrals will split across 2 different rams as the Corruptors make their move. Storms and Archons will try and make something happen here, as obviously the Tempests, though, are going to be kept busy by the Corruptors. We're just going to let those Corruptors run through and go after the Tempests. Well, the Hydras actually took a step back for a moment. They're going to come back through now as well. To be fair, I don't think there's much to really stop this, as Shin does Zerg forward. And he does find himself game number 1, 28 minutes on Alcyone for Shin to open the scoring in this quarterfinal. Bottom left-hand corner, down a game. The Blue Protoss player looking to fight back. Yesterday's WardiTV Monday's champion. It is MaxPax. Ian M7, my friend, thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs to kickstart this game number 2 with. Going out to Lucid, X14N, Block Party, Threads, Abyss686, Tony UK, Tony UK, and C. Vronsky. Thank you so much for the gifted subs. Get some love in the chat for Ian. Always dropping subs in the channel, always supporting and always helping us to get more StarCraft 2 action going. Thank you so much, Ian. As to the top left of the map, up 1 game is going to be the red Zerg player. This is Shin. I'd love to just take a quick moment to mention, especially over on the YouTube channel, we've got a load of YouTube viewers again today, over 300. Please do consider liking the stream here on YouTube. It helps more people find the channel, allows us to do more YouTube content for you in the future. It takes 1 second for you to scroll down from the YouTube video and go and hit that like button. And also, if you're on the YouTube and you don't already subscribe to the channel, I would really appreciate it if you hit that subscription button. It's obviously free to subscribe on YouTube. Really appreciate it if you can take a chance to go and do that. It really does help us out a lot. So, yeah, check those things out, guys. Super easy. Free way to support. Likes and subs go a long way. We're at 43 likes right now. Just click the like button myself on my phone. So, yeah. Go and, oh, no, now we're at 44. See? It's rising. You guys are following the instructions. Now it's at 48. See? You can get that to 100 easily. 100's always good to get to. Help us get there. And like I say, just YouTube's like, whoa, people like this. And it tells more people to watch. And believe it or not, us StarCraft fans are simple people. YouTube tells people to watch good StarCraft. People come watch good StarCraft. So, yeah, hitting that button really does help. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. As we get into game number 2 of this best of 5 series. Shin with the lead. I'm not convinced. It was a good start. It was a good setup. I'm terrified by how much of a struggle it was to close the game out. Because to me, him taking that long and looking that weak at points just means that if he does not win the game, essentially, at the 10-minute mark, I'm always going to favor MaxPax. In any sort of equal later game scenario, this is going to look like MaxPax, unless Shin starts playing a very different and a much stronger and a much better way of playing, right? So Hi, YouTube. Twitch chat saying hi to the YouTube chat. YouTube chat, have your response for Twitch chat? I don't know if two chats should really interact. That sounds kind of scary. Shin and Solo should share game. Shin starts and Solo comes into the lurkers. Oh my god. That's actually so true. Shin can like get into those good positions, but then Solo's actually the one who, when he just survives into those positions, he does amazing. That's actually so funny. That's kind of honestly a very good analytical point. Twitch chat, I think YouTube chat just ignored you, I'm not gonna lie. Feels bad. Alright, we got ourselves the Adept moving around. Link speed and drones continue to come over. The Queen moving about a little bit as well, figuring out what we would like to do. Figuring out how things are going to go over these next few moments. Once again, Link speed coming up, finishing very shortly. The gateway still building forwards, a couple of probes, and the Oracle coming online as well. And the Adept coming back down the bottom left. How do I stream across multiple platforms? I go to my OBS and I click Start Streaming, and that streams to Twitch, and then I go to the YouTube button, and I click Start Streaming to YouTube, and then it starts streaming to YouTube as well. It's very clever. It's like a plugin for OBS that lets you have additional outputs. I can't remember what it's called, but if you look it up, there's a way to do it. I know some people use Restream and stuff, but I have good enough internet nowadays that I don't need to do any of that stuff. So this is actually quite nice because the Restream stuff I feel like is a little bit less reliable and stuff, you know. So actually just streaming from my, basically my own internet to two different places is great. You're so dumb. Sometimes you watch live, then weeks later watch the same match on YouTube. It feels like deja vu. Well, that's just how good StarCraft is, right? You know, sometimes you can watch the same thing a second time and it's still enjoyable, even if you get a bit of deja vu with it. There you go. We have Stefan in the YouTube chat saying hi to Twitch. There you go. the cross Twitch, the cross chat interactions are complete. Beautiful. Thanks everyone for hitting that like button, by the way. You got like plus 25 likes in like 2 minutes. That was amazing. Oracle is going to get pushed back once again. It's just going to get shoved away there. Blink's coming across. The Adept continue to shade. +1 and Blink coming through. The gateways are building. The probes are producing. Going to see Oracles and Adepts moving up into this natural expansion where we are going to try and move into the mineral line. A few Lings coming across and hitting those Adepts for a couple of moments. Now the Adepts shade into the main base where they're going to go after some more of those drones. Lings continuing over. And again, a few more drones continue now. +1 and Blink continue to come through. The gates coming up. The probes are on the way. Just having ourselves the battery and our simulators and all the rest continuing by as well. Pylon continuing to come up also. Lings continue through right now as we just have ourselves the +1 and the Blink both continuing to come out on the side of MaxPax. And yeah, battery coming through, the gateways are coming up, the simulators are all coming online, these oracles are going to get back over to that far left-hand side. Actually ends up getting cancelled. These oracles are going to dive onto the queens. First queen going to start taking shots, second queen coming through as well. Oh, go back up there. I was going to say, a queen does go down, but the oracles do all live. One Ill Alex, thank you so much for the 3-month resub. Welcome back. Thank you so much for resubscribing and supporting the stream today and the tournament and all the rest. Thank you very much, really appreciate it. As we do have +1 missiles, Lings, Hydra, Den, all coming up. Groove Spines will start. Robo Facility, 6 more Stalkers on the way up. Charge Storm, +2. All the things to take MaxPax into a very comfortable later game position. These Lings, oh, I love that bling. MaxPax is like, yeah, welcome to my side of the map, because if you're going to want to get away, I'm not going to let you. That was funny. That's a cute little move. One of those things that wasn't like super impactful, but like just cute, right? Just cute little moves, always fun. Always enjoyable as we have the Oracle now swinging around the left-hand side here from MaxPax as well. Little Lings heading down into the center. Maybe going to aim for that Nexus. Also a possibility. Just going to jump straight onto this. The Oracle will activate. That Nexus dies. That's not a cancel. So some minerals down the drain. A little win for SHIN where it feels like he needs it in this game too. So far, it's been pretty cozy for MaxPax. SHIN is going to get to lurkers, but like I say, I feel like this is now SHIN getting to lurkers without anything really happening to MaxPax. To me, SHIN's going to have to play to a different level than what he played in that last game. The one thing I'm going to say, right, I've been fairly critical about that last game for SHIN. The one thing I will say is it was a little weird because obviously SHIN kind of got into a good spot, but he lost a lot of his bases and economy himself. So I do wonder, maybe the one thing we can hold out hope for SHIN is perhaps just saying, you know what, this is a position or this is a setup where we can actually go into a very good kind of game plan. And just sort of say, right, you know what we're going to do here? We're going to go into a... maybe we're just going to go and say, right, I've got my proper economy. I'm going to be able to tech switch much more smoothly. I'm not having to kind of react to my own kind of weird situation. And even though he was very ahead in that last game, maybe the place he got put to kind of had him guessing himself. So let's see if that comes out to it as Lings and Hydras work their way through on the rocks on the left-hand side, opening up access towards the fourth base of MaxPax, which has been cancelled one time already. Lurkers will start to rush into position. Seismic Spines is only just on the way up, though. So we got 8 Lurkers, but they're not fully upgraded yet. Which makes me a little skeptical about actually trying to take a fight, missing, range and stuff. Especially when you're trying to push into the Protoss. I feel like you got to be a little bit cautious if you're missing upgrades that are very important. Is this the new patch? No, we're not going to implement a new patch halfway through a tournament. We will run a new patch-specific tournament next week, guys. So next week we'll run specifically a new patch event for you all. So I was going to go to town on a few of those Zerglings. We do have Lurkers and Hydras joining up together. Spine Crawler still whacking away. Queen putting some work in. Lings as well. Seismic Spines coming up on the Lurker Den. The Prism moving up that left-hand side as well. Going to try and get around the back. Queen's going to shoot at the Prism. So Prism taking some hits. The Lings are going to get there. The Zealots are going to be taking some shots as well. Whoa! Selu J 77 on the 20 gifted subs, bro. I will come back to those in just a couple of minutes because I feel like we're on the verge of a big fight breaking out here. Thank you so much for the sub bomb. Appreciate the support. As this fight is breaking out, Storms are starting to come down to the Lurkers, but the Stalkers are stepping into Lurker range. My goodness. We're actually going to see the Stalkers. They blink back, but new Lurkers had actually just jumped into that position. So the Stalkers are melting. SHIN pushing forwards into the front, and this base is in trouble. We're going to have another storm coming down, and SHIN just keeps on leapfrogging a few Lurkers further forwards. They don't even have adaptive talents yet, but now we're sieging up the fourth base, and MaxPax will not hold here. Prism denied. Tempest on the way, but not in time to stop the Lurkers, and SHIN getting rid of the fourth is a huge move, and now is going to keep on coming forward. Pushing straight into this position. Another storm goes off the stage ward on a single Zergling as SHIN is handling this very well so far. Keeps on stepping up. A couple of spines to deal with. Zealots across the map is looking good too. Hydra's into the natural expansion, going to knock down the pylon and will begin to engage in toward the Tempest maybe even. As MaxPax, how much more damage will he end up taking here? A couple of Hydras onto that Tempest. The spines will go down there, but the reinforcements are going to be good to play cleanup. Well, the storm comes down. Archons and Stalkers continue to come about. But those Lurkers are just in such a good spot. And again, the Tempests are not in good enough numbers just yet. They're not showing up and putting attention onto the Lurkers. So if the Tempests aren't getting rid of the Lurkers quickly, they're going to hold this position and do a ton of work. The only concern right now is, oh my goodness, all the probes going down as well as the Lurkers shoot down to that low ground deadliness coming through there from SHIN. I was going to say my only concern is maybe now the Tempests will get a full cleanup and maybe MaxPax can stabilize, but I think this is way too much, man. We're talking about 37 dead probes. SHIN's economy at 90 drones. The difference here to the last game is that SHIN's not taking any damage during this, so the continuation of units from SHIN is going to be absolutely huge. Zealots are wandering into the Lurker line as well, and SHIN is looking as though he might take a 2-0 lead in this best-of-5 quarterfinal. Wow. I love it. You know what? Because I saw so many people yesterday when MaxPax beat SHIN as well. They were like, tomorrow MaxPax is just going to whack SHIN again. It's not even going to be close. And now we're almost on the verge of a SHIN 2-0 lead in this quarterfinal. That's absolutely massive. And that's the beauty of StarCraft 2. You can put the same two players up against each other one day to the next, and the games can just look so very different and just look so very, have such a different feel to them. And players can play so differently as well across the course of one day to the next. Kind of crazy, to be honest. There's a few Lings going to run out over on that far right-hand side as well. Hydra's joining up, the drone coming over, +1 flyer attack coming through, the +3 missile upgrades on the way. Overseers are building, Spore Crawlers are producing, Hatchery goes down into the top corner as well. continues to go on across again. Just going to have ourselves the Nidus network coming online. The Nexus getting settled as well. Dropper Lord's going to set up here. A few Hydras going to jump into the Dropper Lord's lurkers as well, as we have ourselves the Archon Immortal continuing through. Observer coming up. Corruptors on the way. Couple batteries building here from MaxPax as well. Now High Templars also coming online. I like it. You know what? Just utilizing the fact you've got money dropping around, looking for different openings. I don't hate it at all for SHIN. I wonder if he's going to put some attention into that bottom right base. Obviously, I think continuing to deny bases of your opponent is one of the more important things to maybe try and get done here as well. So I'll be very interested to see if we can kind of maintain that as the Dropper Lords head in toward the main base now. Hydra's look is getting into the main base. Temple Archives going down. I mean, okay, production going to get camped here, and that's obviously going to be an issue. The Stargate will fall as well. We're just going to have our Archons stepping up, getting a bit of damage on the Vipers already. Now the Tempests are shooting away. A couple of Abducts, though, and those Tempests will start to drop. Storm's coming down, not really landing. I mean, this looks as though SHIN's army's going to be way too good, and you know what? My concerns at last game, I guess, are fading away a little bit. I guess just the damage MaxPax did make the game a little bit weird for SHIN, and that's why MaxPax clawed his way back into it to make it more difficult for SHIN than it maybe should have been. This game shows that SHIN really means some business. Those lurker timings are brutal. MaxPax is just not stopping him from getting into those positions with those lurkers soon enough here. Maybe it's time to go to the drawing board between games 2 and 3 quickly and figure out what you're going to try and do to stop this style of SHIN, which is clearly having success against you. Last game he went Colossus, this time he went Storm. Neither of those have really worked out just yet. Just popping out. Of course, this was a different game for SHIN as well. Last game he played melee upgrade opening and was quite aggressive link-wise. This game he went straight into missiles and much more into those Hydras and so. Queen gonna get taken out. Just gonna be seeing Corruptor's gonna go and spray down the Nexus. Stalker's gonna go blink underneath. The Viper gets pushed away. Corruptors are just gonna commit. They want this Nexus. Super Battery will activate, and I think that means the Nexus will live, which means that giving up all these Corruptors would be a little bit silly. Only 3 of them survive. And so SHIN, a little bit of a misplay there, right? Get a little bit overconfident in his ability to actually clean that out. Just while we take a quick moment, Henry said, thank you so much for the 17-month resub on the Prime. I am coming back to those 20 gifted subs, I promise you. I just don't want to... I feel like this game is kind of on the verge of maybe ending, so I promise we'll come back to those gifted subs. Maybe once the game comes down to a GG. This entire main getting wiped was obviously kind of brutal as well. All that production going down. A big deal as well. Couple of Lings is going to get shot at. We do have ourselves the Forge coming up. Stargate as well. Again, the Greatest Spy about halfway done. That'll be done very shortly as the few Corruptors continue up as well. Hydras and Lurkers making their way around the left-hand side. Corruptor setting up as well. Greatest Spy is going to be finishing. Couple Spines coming forward. Lings going to make their way up. Hydra's going to get in position. The Lurkers are going to be there. Tempests are going to begin to shoot. As a couple of those Tempests start taking big shots. Archon's trying to come forward as well. Super Battery going off for the moment. Whoa, a couple of High Templars in the middle there taking a big amount of damage. That's huge. Forward once again to the Storm coming down. Corruptors will take some hits. The Archon goes down as well. Hydras will jump onto the Stargate, knocking down the attempted move into carriers, which is kind of a huge deal as well, right? If you got to carriers, this game becomes very different again. One carrier denied just before it finishes. The next one's actually quite far from being done. This Stargate on the low ground, I'm sure, is going to be a nearby target at some point. 15 additional Corruptors. If we lose some units, we'll replace them with Corruptors to fight these Tempests in the sky. They're probably the most annoying thing MaxPax has right now. We do get forwards and kill off one of them. With only one Stargate left in the game, though, it's not like these Tempests are being rebuilt the whole time over. As soon as we get the rest of these Corruptors here, I think there's going to be a split, spread, and dive in from SHIN as he potentially looks to close out this game too. Going to take this to a 2-0 lead in the quarterfinals. Not one we saw coming after yesterday's WardiTV Monday result. Corruptors will dive, the Tempest will fall, MaxPax GG's, and SHIN goes up 2-0 in the quarterfinals. SHIN a map away from a semi. Consider using your Prime on the channel. Let's get back into it here as we go into what could be the final game, as we are down by 2 in the bottom right corner. This is the blue Protoss player. It is MaxPax. Top left, our red Zerg is going to be SHIN. Alright, game number 3, into site Delta. Overall coming about, hatch gas coming about, drone coming in, the gateway coming in. Probe on the way up as we get settled down, the spawning pool coming in also. You got the 69th like on YouTube. Nice. Huge. The only thing huger than that would be the 100th like. So, go, guys, go. Actually on 77 likes. That's kind of crazy. When I mentioned this, like, during the start of the last game, it was at, like, 40-something. You guys got this, YouTube. 22 likes. Let's get up to 100. Let's keep the people rolling in. Honestly, with Clem Rogue up next, we could hit 400 viewers on YouTube today. That would be actually kind of wild on the YouTube stream. That's crazy. Good to see you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Hope you're enjoying the YouTube streams. Nexus sets up, Cybercore on the way, and we take ourselves a couple of moments to figure out what this game 3 will look like. MaxPax, can he just find some of that early game aggression, early game harassment, and some of that early game success to send him through into a nice, strong starting point? Be exciting to see. Step just going to go shading forward here initially. Just going to move over to the top side of the map, so just going to come straight across in that direction. I left Twitch and came to YouTube just to like. Beautiful. Love it. That's okay. Get them YouTube likes in. We're just going to see the Adept getting across that lane, going down, bit of damage being done. The other lanes continue to come about as the Oracle comes up. The Wolf Gate is building. The Adept coming through. And those few lanes going to go after some of the probes in the front here. So early lanes are going to find damage. 2 workers down. We're going to lose a couple more. No! That's not a good time for someone to crash out. Rex is going to fall this time. Earlier we had Inu dropping out. This time we're going to have Rex. And that's an unfortunate moment. Link speed about to be done. We have more links in the middle of the map ready to come across as well. SHIN only on 21 drones is starting to drone behind this. But MaxPax has very little chance of getting a wall up, so he could be in some very serious trouble right here. Give it a moment or two, and we'll see this will... Get this going.
Game paused.
Never mind, I'm not a referee, so I don't have that power. So I can't actually do that. And we're back in. Alright, the first few links get there. Okay, one probe does peel up to the top, and that is going to be the wall off available. Another Adept spawns. We put a pylon down. The few links in the main kill an Adept, though. That's a bit of a shame. It's the fact that some of the links are already here and in that's going to be an issue. I think SHIN did a very good... I think he made a pretty good choice here as that gate goes down. I was going to say, I feel like the choice of actually going into more drones is actually very, very smart. Just stopping and saying, okay, I feel like I'm going to get enough done with this already. And then just going into drones, because if he made extra links here, he would have just been killed by the Oracle in a Adept combo. Oracle coming back over, a couple of Overlords hanging around. We have ourselves the Twilight Council building up as well. A couple more probes. Oracle all building through. The few drones on the way. We have our drone at the front getting taken down as well. The rest of the drones continuing out and across as we just have the saturation coming online. MaxPax going to take the Stargate and run it into a Void Ray. So 2 Oracles, now a Void Ray. Kind of an interesting time for a Void. I wonder if this is MaxPax saying, I just don't quite know if you're being super aggressive on the follow-up, and so I'm just going to be trying to be very safe. Or if he just feels as though a Void has a lot of potential right now. There's a lot of Overlords in the middle of the map, for example, and maybe just knocking down some of those would be a very good way to go about things as we come through for our 3rd and 4th drone kill. MaxPax going to stop that rebuild of workers from his opponent for a few moments there, at the very least. Big step in the right direction. Resonating Glaives on the way. Gateways in production. Probe coming through. The couple of Queens and drones on the way from SHIN. The Void Ray will activate, and the Overlord on the right-hand side is going to begin to take 3 shots of damage. The Overlord will fall. There's the Resonating Glaives from MaxPax. So maybe that's why you go for the Void. Deny Overlord vision, go into the Glaives, and try and catch your opponent a little bit off guard here at game number 3 of the series. Cool way to maybe break momentum and just come back firing the other way. Queen's going to be here. A couple of drones went down and pushed that back. Glaive's not far from being done, but losing the depths before Glaives is not exactly great. Bane Nest to help SHIN out. He's trying to play a melee upgrade that's not exactly great against Glaive Adepts, but the Bane Nest will help, because if you can force these Adepts to split apart against the Banelings, then the Lings can get full surrounds on individual Adepts. That's when you're going to start finding enough damage output to shut down those numbers. And of course, if some of the Banes do manage to connect, then even better. The Adept's going to go shading toward the natural. That's a wall off, though. The Adepts may not want to commit to that. They're going to go and break down the Evolution Chamber. The Banes finish up on the right-hand side. Stasis Ward is going to get targeted. I don't love that. No, that's going to catch all the Lings and the Banes. Felt like that was obvious. He went onto it way too late, but he tried to make it happen. Some Adepts get up to the high ground. I think this would have been a really good defense if we just didn't get caught in the Stasis Ward. That Stasis is genuinely huge for MaxPax, as these Adepts will make it into this mineral line now. 7 drones going down, and that may grow still as 8 go down. There's an Adept on the 3rd base as well. SHIN losing a lot of mining time as drones have to pull away to the sides. That Stasis really is monumental. It is such a huge impact in the game. The Lings will come in. They're going to play cleanup here, but down 14 workers. And with nothing to really show for being down 14 workers, SHIN is in serious trouble, and it looks as though MaxPax has successfully made a bounce back in this series to at least take 1 game and to get on the scoreboard and to keep this series alive after 3 maps. And Lings now trying to run across the map, but the Oracles and the Adepts are just going to clean up even more of those Lings. More freebies being given away there by SHIN. That was just a mistake to run all the way through like that. That was never going to be as good as it needed to be. Again, melee upgrade coming online. The few extra Banes coming over. Lings, Queen coming through. The last starts up as well from SHIN once again. Get that going once more. +14 drones still in production. Lair on the way through. +1 missile attack coming out. Bane comes back over, trying to connect through on some of those Stalkers, but the Banes will never really do enough there. And now Adept Stalker together, moments away from Blink, and this one really is done and dusted. We are going to go to Game 4. We will not see a 3-0 sweep from SHIN. MaxPax will step back up in this series as SHIN try to get a little aggressive early. It was okay. I think the real killer was, again, just that Stasis Ward. Completely shut down any hope he had of really defending that first push, and that let way too much damage be done. Now with Blink, Stalkers will never die, and they will trade very, very well. As we just see a few more Lings, and picked away at as they step forwards here. GG is called, and MaxPax takes game number 3. SHIN 2, MaxPax 1. Hey, map our Blue Protoss player. He's brought it back. We've got a series on our hands. Thanks to the Blue Protoss. In the top left, let's make some noise for MaxPax. Top right, the red Zerg player. He really is on the up right now. He really is very fun to watch and play with and witness. It is SHIN in the upper right corner of the map. Understand committing to destroying the ward, you would have done too, just mistimed. Yeah, I think that's the thing though, like, there's a point where you've got to say, oh, I started on this, the idea of me clicking that is just too late. I mean, I understand it's obviously a very split-second decision, but you got to be able to see, it's too late for me to truly just click that. I got to just go and move on, right? Like, I just got to step back and just try and split on it instead. Because, the worst part is, it wasn't just the Lings that got caught, his initial Banes got caught, right? So yeah, it really was a horrible moment to get stasis. And the Banes weren't really near the stasis ward either. They were just kind of, you know, casualties from the Lings getting caught in it. So yeah, great stasis positioning, to be fair, from MaxPax. And a great timing to drop it too. Well, next is coming up, Hatch in the pool, getting underway. We have a game number 4 here. We're gonna see where we're gonna go. Next is Cybercore coming up. It's going to be a hat trick, couple Lings and the Queen. Coming through from SHIN. We got ourselves set up. The Adept is on the way. Man, thank you everyone for joining us today. The viewership is unreal right now. Got almost 2,000 viewers across the channels. StarCraft is alive and well, huh? Well, hopefully with the news of a circuit coming soon, hopefully it really will be alive and well, but for the off-season, we're doing pretty darn good, guys. Great job. Thanks for being here. Adept moves across the map, going up towards the upper right-hand side, so he's going to go for a little bit of a poke and a prod in toward the natural and potentially the main base as well. We'll look to see what we can do over there. Link speed coming up. The Adept Warp Gate still coming through. Stargate not far from finishing, and a couple of probes from MaxPax will be finishing very shortly also. Just have that Stargate about to be done. We're getting a couple of Queens, the Lings, and the Ling speed coming up also. Get all of that brought into play. What will MaxPax do? Game number 4. I feel like SHIN's almost probably thinking, I kind of want to do what I did in the previous games, you know, game 1 and 2. However, smaller map Ghost River, and I don't know if you will get away with necessarily just playing straight into those lurkers without being in a lot of trouble getting there. I think MaxPax could probably apply a good amount of pressure to stop him from getting there, for example, so Adepts is going to come through, a couple Queens going to shoot. That's going to be seeing the Crypt Human going down the front, the Adepts get into the main. That's going to be seeing our next is coming through, a couple of those probes. That Warp Gate coming about as well. And the Oracle moving around the top. Did we play a new patch? Nope, no new patch today. New patch will give, honestly, I would not be surprised if the patch changed a little bit next week. We've seen that Queen flying away. So you see a melee upgrade coming through, the drones. The Queen continuing about as well. So set to rumble, just going to be having the feelings gathering together also. extra gates, Forge, Twilight continue coming through. And do have ourselves the gates and so coming about. Just gonna see the Oracles diving into the main. Gonna have ourselves a little bit of damage being dealt. So, a few shots coming about. Melee upgrade coming over. Ling's Lair continue to get going. Just gonna have ourselves the hatch and the lair continue coming through. Again, melee upgrade continues to build into place. Still got the extra gate, still got the +1 and the blink all coming about here for the moment. Again, our lanes continue to fire it up. See if they can find anything, but so far the defense of MaxPax been pretty decent to say the least. Stalkers, the Oracle's coming around again. +1 on Blink still coming up, the melee upgrade, and the rest of the Lings coming around also. Robo Facility will be on the way from MaxPax as already the Stalker's starting to pressure towards the other side of the map, though. You know what he wants to do. He wants to just go and keep on going, getting that forward pylon up, maybe even a forward gateway up as well. Robo's going to shoot a couple Lings taking damage. We do see again +1 on Blink coming out. Robo Facility finishing. Hydra about to be done from a SHIN would be a major step in the defense here, but I'm not sure if he's going to be able to hold on. I think he's genuinely already in a little bit too much trouble here. The Lings thinking about maybe trying to find a wraparound on those Stalkers. The Queen's going to be gathering up. The Oracle's overhead, +1 and Blink. Both continuing through. Let's have ourselves the Stasis Ward coming down there again. Single Zergling trying to get across is going to get denied in attempting to go there. A couple of Lings. They want to hit that Stasis, but they've been denied so far. Finally, it goes off. Lings on the counterattack may be able to get an Adept and get in on the other side. That could be huge, but we don't have much to protect the Hydras over here. We're going to have to check on those Lings in a second on the other side of the map. It doesn't look like they broke through, though. It looks like the defense was made at home by MaxPax, and so now we've just got to bring these Lings back over here. I mean, there's a gate on the low ground. Lings are going to try and get busy. SHIN getting a few Hydras out. It was just not really getting to those Hydras in time, right? You kind of needed those Hydras to be here when the first round of Lings were there, so they could truly just sit in safety and do as much as they could. GG's, and we are going to another Game 5 here today for the second time in these quarterfinals. We have got ourselves in the top left, the blue Protoss player. This is going to be MaxPax, bringing it back. We're going to a fifth and final game. Going the full distance. In the bottom right-hand side, the red Zerg player here is going to be SHIN on a final map today between these two. After this, Clem versus Rogue coming up. Let's hope that series is just half as awesome as this one is, because this has been a great match. I feel like Clem Rogue has that potential for Clem to just pop off and just knock Rogue down. Really hoping Rogue shows up in that series, and I think Showtime Spirit's going to be a banger to end the day on as well. Might not be quite the full-on superstar names everyone loves all the time, but I think Showtime Spirit's a very solid matchup. And, yeah, I think that's going to be a lot of fun as well. Looking forward to that TVP. So, yeah, I just need to tab 1 second here on my main PC for a sec. Hi guys, apologies for that. Let's have us back in. That's back on track. So, we get underway. SHIN bottom right, MaxPax up left. Final game between these two. Which of these guys will advance into that semi-final? SHIN looked really good across the first couple of games. A little bit worrying at certain points of game 1 after being so far ahead. I was like, oh, I'm not sure. But then he kind of dispelled my disbelief in game 2, and I was like, okay. And now here we're on a 5th game as MaxPax has brought it back. Couple of different aggressive games from SHIN, and none of them really working out. Then obviously getting glaived himself didn't really help either. It kind of seems as though SHIN gets through the first 5 to 6 minutes. He's actually going to be pretty okay, but those first 5 to 6 minutes apparently still can be very deadly when MaxPax is in charge. Speed coming up. The Stargate building next is about to finish. Link speed still building. Queen's drones all on the way out at the moment, so continue to bring that through. gateway building as well. Link speed again, not far from being done. Our hatchery finishing shortly. Lings will just play the nibbling game on that set of rocks. Just going to open those up. Make a little bit of space through here. Link speed is continuing to come on by. Ourselves the drones building. The hatchery building. Queen continuing to come through as well as we settle in. The Adept is going to negotiating. Queen's going to fire up a few shots. Adept will get pushed back again. Link speed about to finish up. Queen's on the way. And the drone's going to be popping very shortly. Now the Oracle builds from MaxPax. Warp gate's halfway done. This Oracle is going to provide high ground vision, which lets you pick away at this Overlord, which is really nice. So we just start a chip through this. Overlord will go down. It's going to be a nice grab early. Obviously, an Overlord early is an Overlord that must be replaced because you can't be supply blocked. We have our spores coming up. Again, Queens and Lings continue to come about. Oracle continues to head down to the south, flying over the third base. Couple of Queens. It's going to be there straight away. Oracle activates, gets rid of a creep tumor. Let's see that Queen in position to push that Oracle away. That's obviously very important. Making sure that these Oracles do not get too much done. That's definitely where MaxPax starts his advantages in these games against SHIN. While Council and Forge both building up from MaxPax. Got a couple probes on the way. The Nexus coming through. And again, 14 more Lings in production currently, as we have the Oracles still moving around on the bottom. 10, 14 Lings, the melee upgrade, a couple of drones on the way by. Queens are going to be there to keep the Oracles back. Queens jumping onto the Oracles for a moment or two as well. A couple of shots there, pushing those out of here. 7 drones coming up as the Oracle is going to latch onto and kill off a drone there for a couple of moments as well. Queen's continuing about and just going to have again the Lings pushed up to the top. Melee upgrade, Rotron, drones continue to come over. The Ling's going to wrap around the Adept and the Stalkers. Such a really nice attack because a lot of these units go down before the Oracles get there. As the Oracles get back and activate, it's going to be able to clean that up. The Oracle pulling back around also. And again, Lair coming in, melee upgrade coming up, drones and the Rotron coming by as well. Zoo here, thank you so much for this 7-month resub on the Prime. Appreciate it, thank you. Thank you so much as our extractors come online on the natural. And we're back into that melee upgrade. We've seen so many different ways of trying to set up on the game as SHIN. Some melee upgrades, some missile upgrades. The main thing he's seen success with is just being getting to the Lurkers successfully. If he gets to the Lurkers successfully, he feels as though he can really kind of do a whole bunch of stuff, really, as the Stalkers get there, the Oracles activating, Lings get pushed away immediately. Temple Archives and Robotics Facility both continue to come up and online. The Spire building from SHIN as well. Melee upgrade about to finish. Roach speed on the way. 7 additional Roaches being produced right now. Step up, and that first Oracle already going to take a few shots as well, getting pushed away further up into the center. Spire building through the drones building, the Lings and Roaches coming by, and +1 missiles and the Roach speed coming up. Also, Storm will be producing from MaxPax as our Blink continues into play. Roach just settles down over on the left side. And the +1 attack not far from being done at all from MaxPax as well, as the Stalkers not really adventurous. I mean, just setting up to kind of, put on the 4th base. And with the fact that this is a Spire, first time in the series, SHIN's playing mutas. Played mutas yesterday. We did go for like the 10 mutalists just into the rest of the army after. Looks like there's a similar style from him today. Didn't really work for him yesterday, but maybe today we can find something that works a little bit better with those mutalists this time around. I actually feel like SHIN's had a lot of good games with mutas lately, as these Lings get a pretty decent catch on a couple of the Stalkers. Yeah, he's had some good games with mutalists, just not necessarily against MaxPax. And like I say, the most recent meeting that the mutas were used in, they were pretty inconsequential. In fact, maybe were quite consequential because I feel like them doing nothing kind of led to MaxPax just dominating that game in the end. Cannons are going to be up in time to protect the mineral line, so again, question really will be out on how much can these mutas achieve. MaxPax almost overcommitted against the mutas the other day too. He made a bunch of Phoenix against them, which obviously Phoenix against mutas isn't bad. You make too many Phoenix and maybe the ground army because you're switching out of mutas can become an issue, but because it was lurkers, the Phoenix actually still had a bit of a role to play. They could lift up some of the lurkers and stop some of the burrows in important moments, so it'll be interesting to see if MaxPax thinks about the idea of going into some Phoenix here once again. He's obviously got the Stargate from early games, so it's a possibility as the mutas show themselves for the first time up the left-hand side and into the natural expansion. They're going to ignore that cannon, I would imagine, and just go for as many probes as they can get, but Stalkers are there, and they have Blink to chase down. Into the main base we go. A couple more probes. It's going to be on the far side of that cannon. I'm just going to get 11 workers here to start out with, make it 12, and of course these Stalkers are running after Mutalisks, so they are not going to be in position to do anything more fruitful than that. Ling Roach on the right side going to get rid of a couple Zealots there as well. They will go down. Stalker's going to get underneath the mutas once more. A few more storms coming about. The cannons going to be in position to push those Mutalisks away up to the top. They get chased out of there. Charge coming through, +2 attack coming online, the Immortal building as well. And the Stalkers will continue to hunt to the upper left-hand side as actually going to blink and pick away at a few of those mutas on the far left. A few of those mutas going down pretty quickly. So mutas get picked away. Just going to have again our +2 attack coming through. A couple of Stargates on the way. The Fleet Beacon coming in. Another Stasis Ward sets up just outside the front as the High Templars and Archons coming about as well. Another lurker or two continue to come through. 3 lurkers on the way up. 7 spine crawlers producing. Hydra. Wings. Roaches. Building up as well. Stalkers and High Templars setting up. Stasis Ward is going to go off. Ward's a set of Lings there. Another couple of, well, another Stasis Ward goes down there as well. Obviously, the mutas already dealt with is concerning, right? That when they go down so soon, feels as though you always want to try and draw out as much as you can get with them. As we run up on the right-hand side, Lurkers are going to burrow here. MaxPax are going to come down this ramp, but Stalkers ain't going to do much. Some Lings are going to keep some of the Stalkers in range for an extra moment or so. A little bit painful right there. On the left side, Lings are ready to move in at a moment's notice as well. And MaxPax, he's going to let SHIN just take down the 4th base. He did not get into position in time. And SHIN denies the 4th of MaxPax. And we've seen this one before. This is how games 1 and 2 set up. MaxPax. This seems to me, I mean, I just can't believe he walked onto that 4th base so easily. Just up the right-hand side, into position, and just like that, 4th base gets denied. We're actually going to see SHIN continue to chase Lings from the left-hand side, try and slow some of these units down. Storms coming through. We do kill some of the High Templar at least. First Tempest is out from MaxPax, so very quick switch to Tempest this game to try and deal with some of that lurk count, I imagine. Damn. You can see as Zealots warping into the main base. We are going to get 2 queens onto that prism, so it will go down. Finish the prism. We do finish the prism, but the Zealots are still here, of course. Well, I mean, that's the sort of thing that can pull SHIN back. That's the sort of thing that can buy MaxPax some time. It might be the secret to him seeing a bit more success in this game compared to how games 1 and 2 went. In game 1, he obviously did hit some run-bys. Game 2 was very inactive from MaxPax. He couldn't really find much opportunity at all. Going back to the top, 4th base coming on the line. We have ourselves the Corruptors all coming through. Lurkers coming about, Roach is coming over. Tempest are going to continue to strike away as well. Let's move back across. High Templars gathering. Lurkers and Lings still on the move as well. Got ourselves the Stalkers going to reposition. Roach is getting pushed back again. Tempest, Stalkers, just going to move about. A couple of shots coming out. Lurker's going to take some shots there. Corruptor's going to try and step up. A couple storms coming down as well. +2 air weapons on the way through. +3 missiles is coming up. The Hydras are continuing to come about. And you're seeing the mothership going to cloak up, and we are going to see them blinking forwards, but there is detection here. Overseer's available. Corruptor's obviously very good. Much faster Corruptor production this game from SHIN. He already had the Spire available, right? And that was one of the issues he had earlier when Tempest finally came on the field for MaxPax, having an answer to those. But this game, that's not as much of an issue, and this is starting to be a problem as MaxPax is getting cut off from his main base, and there's the carrier that just got produced getting taken down immediately. First carrier goes down. Corruptors are going to find themselves a second carrier. They're very low. The second carrier should still die, but Corruptor count is not looking super pretty. We will have new Hydras on the way, new Corruptors in production. The Hydras just streaming across the map. I believe it was like 19 Hydras that were building a few moments ago. That natural expansion in trouble. With Robo Facility there as well, obviously not exactly ideal. We still have carriers building, though. Can we get to a scary amount of carriers in this? Can that carrier count be influential? As we see the Hydras here going to try and get involved. What splash damage is there currently? Not a lot. Basically just storms. SHIN's going to give up after killing the natural. He's going to back away for a second. I don't hate it because obviously getting some more Corruptors online would be great, but the carrier count will get established. And that is a big deal for MaxPax. We've not really seen him on a good carrier count in this series so far. It's been Tempests. But that's kind of been about it, you know. Lurker's going to burrow up. As we see the few Hydras stepping over the right-hand side. Obviously, it's going about. Corruptors and the Lurkers are going to be okay. Just going to be seeing the carriers and Tempests coming about as well. The Phoenix and Carriers and High Templars all continuing through. Again, +2 melee, +2 flyer attack coming in. The Lurkers are going to try and move up the top. The Hydras as well. Going to try and see what we can do currently. Big Stasis is going to catch a few of those Lurkers. The rest of the Lurkers get into a pretty nice spread. The Overseer important here to provide detection as we do go diving forward. Storm's now on top of this army. It's a mess of a fight, but I do believe that SHIN is going to start winning out in the skies. Or is he? Some of the Archons are getting to work. The carrier count is still okay. 2 carriers left, a couple Tempests. A few Corruptors still chugging away through this. The Hydras are starting to get involved. 4th base going down is a big deal. The mothership is moments away from dropping. It might just about get away. Every carrier is going to die, though, and that's kind of a big deal. Not every carrier, every Corruptor is going to die, and that's kind of a big deal. 14 new Corruptors have to be made again. SHIN is mining so much more. Killing the bases is huge for him, especially when MaxPax is not putting out a lot of counter damage himself. That is a huge deal, right? The fact that SHIN just has 6 bases right now. Yeah, 6 bases, currently mining 81 drones. MaxPax is losing the base every time SHIN attacks. If he didn't lose the bases, then MaxPax probably is okay to kind of keep on rebuilding and be like, okay, this is fine, I'm trading armies, resources lost is even. That obviously doesn't work when that 4th base just went down, when previously the natural went down. I'm not mind seeing a heavier Corruptor count now. I think another big thing here is now there's only 3 High Templars, 1 Archon. The splash damage is limited once again. The next rounds of these Corruptors are going to be pretty scary for this Protoss army to deal with without proper support. I would love to see if MaxPax gets some money to actually put him into more Templars, more Storms, more Archons, anything along that line, but he's poor. He does not have a lot, and now he's got to decide, does he do that, or does he actually just add more carriers? He's going to go more carriers. I mean, you can almost never deny more carriers is good, but carriers do need their supporting units as well. They do need that splash damage to keep them safe from all those Corruptors flying in. Lurker's looking to step forward here. We do have 1 Stasis that's going to actually go down before it hits anything. The Lurker count's still important here because the Lurker count is going to be what can get rid of some of the ground units that would be big in certain situations. There's a lot of Overseers available here. There's not a lot of Storms. The Storm's honestly kind of missing. That Storm hits more carriers than anything else. And SHIN is going to get it done. 3-2 over MaxPax. It looked wobbly for him after that game 1. It looked scary when MaxPax brought it back to 2-2. But SHIN finds a game very similar to game 1 and game 2. Game 1, 2, and 5, very similar ideas, very similar setups to give SHIN the win over MaxPax in this quarterfinal series and to move on through to the semi-finals here in WardiTV October.